Hello and welcome. Today, I'd like to talk about taking a more cyclical approach to personal growth and in the same way, starting to actually embrace our authenticity. So let's bid farewell to the cliche of new year, new you, and instead embark upon a journey of embracing our most authentic selves. And we'll do this by veering away from societal molds and pursuing genuinely attainable and fulfilling goals so we can open a door to more effective and meaningful personal growth experiences. Because let's be honest, there's major flaws in, say, New Year's resolutions. There's research done that suggests that only 9% of us, at least here in the US, that make resolutions actually complete them. It goes on to show that 23% of people actually quit their resolutions by the end of the first week, and 43% quit by the end of January. So that's a decent failure rate, right? So, why do these resolutions fail so often? It starts with unrealistic goals and external pressures to set them to begin with, right? So I'd like to invite you to check in with yourself and see if it's even something that you want to achieve. So often we get pressured by external forces that are telling us that we need to do certain things. And instead, we never really see if it's what we actually want or need for ourselves and our own well being. Also, at this time, can you reasonably follow through? Do you have the space, the time, or financial stability to do any of these changes? And if not, that's where you need to start is instead of jumping headfirst into trying to achieve the actual goal, start making the time, the space, and the financial stability to achieve that goal. Then there's motivation. There can be lack of support in your household, your peers, etc. And also, if you're neurospicy, your brain may be working against you because there's not enough dopamine there or whatever to help us achieve that. And then also, the biggest one that I see is lack of preparation. Everybody goes into this, thinking that they can make the switch overnight. And think about how other habits form, maybe not so good habits. If we're dealing with addictive substances, sometimes it takes it we start adding them into our lives without even really realizing it. It could be doom scrolling on the internet. It could be using nicotine substances or alcohol or something, and it becomes a habitual thing. And without the same like habit forming or undoing, we are not able to actually just stop or change. So it is important to have preparation when we're actually trying to um, start making these different resolutions in our life or shifts, right? You might have heard that you should try something for at least a month and then go from there. There's some validity in that. It's based on Maxwell Maltz's theory in his book Psycho-Cybernetics, where he explores being able to form a habit in 21 days. Others push this to even undoing the habits, but they don't allow for variabilities. Like this was a very small test and probably didn't work on all the variabilities that are out there. And it can be a very ableist viewpoint, meaning that it doesn't count for your physical ability. Learning styles are being neurodivergent. And within that, I've felt and experienced some very strong issues around that because it's not just willpower. that gets you through some of these things. Sure, it can be. I am one of the most hard-headed people in the world, but it does not account for if you have physical issues. For me, my migraines and inflammation and stuff that I have often cause me not to be able to show up on a daily basis the same way that I would often do. Also, I learn things very quickly, but it has to be something that I truly enjoy. And this comes from those hyper focus moments and the is this giving me the dopamine that I need for my neurospicy brain to continue doing this? So remember that, some variabilities don't always produce the same results. Sometimes we have to work harder to make that habit actually work or undo something. So have some compassion for yourself and remember that, willpower and mindset shifts aren't the end all be all. Sometimes you have other things going against you. But that being said, give it a try. And here's some practical tips for building some new habits and manifesting some of the new things that you would like in your life. Number one, take baby steps. Embark on your habit building journey with small, easily repeatable behaviors. Consider starting with a simple act, such as something as simple as drinking water every morning when you wake up. Start making subtle shifts toward whatever you're trying to do. And for me, getting more of a hold on my health and well-being is a huge goal. So adding in, making sure that I'm hydrating and not starting with caffeine every morning is one of those goals. Number two, get clear on your goals. Being able to clearly articulate what you're aiming to achieve and being able to outline those steps really allow you to reach your objectives. And this specificity also allows you to enhance the clarity and focus around what you're trying to build. And that leads us into the third thing, creating a blueprint. Develop a structured plan detailing how you can or intend to seamlessly integrate this new behavior into your daily routine. Just saying that you're going to do yoga every morning doesn't mean that's going to happen. You actually need to set aside the time and move out blocks and stuff that are going to do that, because through well thought out plans, we increase the likelihood of actually having a good habit formation. Number four, chart your progress. Keeping a record of your journey in some form or fashion, whether it's a journal, a spreadsheet, a goal tracker, these can really help you in being able, when you're having a low moment, to sort of track the progress and actually see that things have been changing. Also, especially if you're like a business owner like me, making note of praise or celebrating those goals that you've achieved, saving raving reviews to your, phone or something like that. Not only will that help you track the progress, but it will also allow you to review that when you need a boost of confidence, when you're having a down day or you haven't seen progress in a while. So you can take and compare the things that were working well with the things that aren't great and are a little bit sticky right now. And think about it as giving yourself a gold star. If you were like me, your family did potty training, chore work, stuff like that while I was growing up to encourage the repeated behavior, right? So by regularly tracking your advancements and commemorating even the smallest triumphs, you're not only tracking your progress, but it's also fueling motivation. It's giving you that dopamine. So if you need to create a star chart or, create a little sticker book, do it. It doesn't mean just being an adult doesn't mean that you have to give up small pleasures. And there's some amazing stickers out there. I often had lots from going to the allergist and getting my shots when I was younger. And now I track, you know, travel or commemorate travel or certain events in my life by the stickers that I purchase, because who doesn't like a good sticker? My guitar case is completely covered. Um, I don't have my laptop covered. I've never done that, mostly because I can't commit to something that is going to break potentially in the very near future. Um, but yeah, our fifth and final tip for this is set yourself up for success. Keep motivation surrounding you. This can be by having community, having like minded folks around you can be very, very detrimental to your success. And also learning to hold compassion for yourself when you have a setback. Going in with all or nothing mentality can be a recipe for disaster. And it's better to go in with the attitude that I can pick up wherever I leave off rather than having to start again from the beginning. This is something that I really find important within my own movement journey. I don't necessarily call it working out or whatever. I just like to incorporate general movement into my day to day life. That could be anything from, organizing the house and lifting heavy boxes to blacksmithing and doing stuff in my art studio to going on a hike or doing yoga or something like that. I feel like for certain minds and certain bodies, keeping into the athletic terms isn't very helpful for some of us. And by reworking or reapproaching it into something that's not as strategy based, my words aren't connecting right now, but strict and confining, allowing yourself to flow with, oh, today my body wants to dance. Today I want to go and lift a bunch of weights, but in that form, instead of going strictly to the gym, or for me, downstairs to our Smith machine, I might go outside and start hucking around gigantic iron pieces and, rebuilding my studio and stuff like that. Because, finding those ways to find a give and take, because I often spread myself too thin and I overcommit energy, time, all kinds of stuff. So by allowing myself to reframe, hey, my studio work time can double as my workout time and stuff like that, sometimes it helps me not to overcommit myself, because there's only so much time in a day. And I also have to worry about if I have spoons enough for that. But if you're not, in that case, go get them. One of the ways that I start making some of these shifts and that's really allowed me to start tapping into my own body and the needs that I have is allowing myself to look at life as a cyclical thing. And through this, I encourage people to start looking at agrarian cycles or following the will of the year, based upon the area that you live in, for sure, as an inspiration, because my viewpoint is based deeply in my own personal experiences living in the Northern Hemisphere, in the US, in the Mid Atlantic to Southern state regions, right? So, what other people are experiencing can be completely different worldwide. So keep that in mind. Um, I also grew up in a very rural area, so I have a general idea in my head of the rhythms that farmers follow, but not everybody grew up like that, right? So, if you don't have that in mind, the will of the year can really provide a roadmap to start identifying the cyclical nature of time. which provides us a variety of ways to observe, recalibrate, and start fresh throughout the year. And that is if we allow time to do so, right? And that brings me into shadow work, because for me, shadow work is more of a monthly basis thing around the moon cycle. Observation of what's working, what's not, what we want to manifest, what we need to discard, releasing that, what's all messed up in our own body, where we're feeling tension and stuff like that. But even though I do this on a monthly cycle almost, I keep some time set aside for deep shadow work starting in late fall, because the autumn leaves invite us to also shed what's no longer serving us as the colder weather starts and the lengthening periods of darkness invite us to turn inward and start practicing self-reflection and releasing what no longer serves us as well. However, this liminal time period, and for me, I'm just going to generally use Samhain to Yule into the Lunar New Year. This creates a natural pause for us to do the deep inner work, but it's become overgrown with all this preparation for winter holidays, right? It's amidst a huge rush that's heavily influenced by the capitalist machine, let's be honest, right? We are always encouraged to do more, buy more, be more, and instead we can take time to sort of allow us to pause. But if that's not in your wheelhouse, if that's not what your life allows for, trying to set up these New Year's resolutions to go cold turkey overnight and start changing stuff when you're still like cheese filled in a sweet coma from the holidays, I encourage you to give yourself a grace period, to get your life back in order and back on schedule before you start really trying to make changes that add more stress to your life and putting pressure on yourself to do things differently overnight, right? So personally, I words personally, I like to follow the moon cycles. We've already established that. And in doing so, I like to wait until the lunar new year in February when the celestial calendar resets to really devote myself to starting the ball moving toward new goals. This allows a little extra time to prepare and get everything in order after the upheaval of the holidays and really start making some lasting shifts as our life starts moving into the next cycle. And remember, winter is generally a funky time to track any kind of progress of new growth because a lot of times it's hidden, and I'll get back to that. But I want to remind people that any progress is good progress. It's all about getting the ball rolling and keeping the ball rolling. And so I want to remind you to look at progress like a seed. It can live dormant for weeks, months, even years until the conditions are just right for it to sprout and start peeking through the surface, right? So again, looking to the wheel of the year, Ostara, which is the celebration in March that reminds us to take a pause and reflect on the work that has been happening hidden underground. This comes as the snowdrops and daffodils and hyacinths start to make their presence known, and we start to see the subtle shifts in our lives start to play out. So, there's a time and a place for everything. And luckily, on a cyclical path, everything's not linear, everything's not slowly moving up. We continue to revisit and go through some of the things that if we didn't learn the lesson the first time, guess what? It's going to come right back around and we're going to have to learn it again. And it allows us to build and repeat instead of always having to show up in a better manner. We can allow ourselves the compassion and the time to, hey, I stumbled that go around. Next time I'm going to nail it, right? So let's talk about navigating some of the obstacles on the path to authentic living so we can become an awesome co-creator with the divine in our life, right? So we will undoubtedly encounter hurdles on this journey. Um, but I want to encourage you not to throw in the towel. It may just be time to shelve something for a little bit. There's various reasons why we can come up against challenges as we're trying to foster new habits. And that's the biggest thing is we want our lives to stand the test of time. We want these shifts in our life to really stay true and continue to act in our lives, right? So, in order to do that, the first one is surround yourself with support for motivation and accountability. That's yet again surrounding yourself with like minded people, people that are on the same journey as you. That will really help you in being able to stay the path for yourself. Number two, combating the inner critic and facing the negative emotions. Our inner critic likes to gaslight us a lot. Um, and that starts a spiral. You know, it might be telling us that we're not good enough. Who are we to start trying to think and change and do different things? And all of the stuff that just brings us down, that bogs us down, that makes us icky, right? So, having mindset shifts through affirmations, reviewing progress, and identifying what's not working, what is working, and continuing to go in that progress can really help. Number three, habit looping or habit stacking can really help you in this. So, developing a habit loop that comprises as a cue, a routine, and a reward can really help. And by that, having that habit loop, start stacking your habits. This can be by simplifying processes and ingraining the habits into daily life. So, maybe if you have a hard time remembering to take your vitamins or doing your daily affirmations, add these into your morning routine of brushing your teeth, have affirmations on your mirror. Also grab your water and take your meds or your vitamins or whatever, being able to habit stack that way. A lot of times while I'm making coffee, I'm also doing some gentle movement and getting some either dancing or some squats in or something like that. Utilize your time instead of just going to doom scrolling on your phone to fill the time. Activate that time, make it work for you. And that could just be by getting the wiggles out and getting some gentle movement into your life while you're doing some other tasks. And that could be, for me, I like to sing. That helps, me get started in the morning and stuff like that. So I'll sing to the cats while I'm feeding them. I'll make up tunes that don't even make any sense, but it's a fun way for me to embody and really add stuff that I love into my life during the mundane. Finding the magic in the mundane is huge. So, the fourth one I'll leave you with is transforming your environment. If your surroundings pose a challenge, maybe even the people in your life pose a challenge into the habit formation, start instigating changes that align with it and actually bolster up your newfound behavioral patterns. Your environment can be such a catalyst for your shifts rather than an impediment. So this is also a wonderful time. Winter is a great time to start shifting out everything. I've been in this mass cleaning and reorganizing and just trying to really start being able to make my life and my space work for me. And winter is a great time for that. There's, you know, whether you're planning on smoke cleansing your house or whatever, even just opening the doors and the windows and sweeping out the bad energy, sweeping the cobwebs down, lighting some incense or something like that, that can really help clear your space and re-enliven the energy that is there. So I would like for you to remember life is a journey. It's not about the destination. And by embracing some of these strategies, you can pave the way for lasting and positive shifts toward living your most authentic and abundant life in co-creation with the divine. So in that, I would like to leave you with a small mindfulness exercise, one that I like to use every year. Hey, buddy, my cat's saying hello. And that is by picking one word that you can pick for the whole entire year ahead that you can reflect on to bring you back to balance and realign yourself to your goals and the reason why you're doing this as you traverse the year. It creates a route for you. So maybe combine this with end of the year shadow work and goal setting activities. Maybe you bring out your tarot deck for intuitive readings or something like that. But just allow yourself to meditate and really clue into the word that pops forward for you. And within that, take it a step further and make the word visible so you can really connect to it on a soul level. Whether this is in notes on your phone, write it down in your journal, maybe expanding some of the definitions or your thought on the word, print it out, put it on your vision board or, somewhere prominent in your house so you see it a lot. Find images that you can view on your Pinterest board or something like that. Whatever feels right for you to really internalize and embrace the word for yourself is key. I haven't picked mine yet, but I will definitely share it as soon as I do. But I just want to thank you for taking the time to watch this video, and I hope that this video covered some things that will help you set yourself up for success rather than failure as we start ditching New Year resolutions and adopting new ways to work toward truly attainable and fulfilling goals. I encourage you to adopt a more gradual and cyclical approach to your personal growth. And also, remember, change is a continuous process, not limited to a single day or month, right? So feel free in the comments to share your thoughts, your experiences, maybe even some failures if you would like, and what you're trying to make shifts toward in the new year. Also, we're going to be on a year-long journey and beyond of embracing the wheel of the year. So be sure to subscribe here on YouTube as well as across social media. And my newsletter also covers a lot of fun things around the wheel of the year. But we're also exploring finding approaches to living a more creative and mindful life while igniting our authenticity. So in saying that, also, I encourage you to become a Patreon supporter because it helps fuel the ongoing creation of inspiring and educational content just like this. And you'll be able to find all of the links to any of this pertinent information below in the description. But farewell and happy manifesting and starting to make subtle shifts in your life. Warm wishes and blessings as we approach the new year.